You're listening to KXZY The Barbell on Fitness Radio. Hey, what's up, guys? This is the very first episode of Physical Preparedness Group Radio, something that I've been meaning to do for a long time, but have been putting off, but now we're here. Most of my videos I put up are pretty heavily edited just because I'm not that great of a speaker and I want the content to be a little bit fluid. I want it to be easy to listen to and easy to absorb. But with these radio episodes, we're going to try and just make it a little more free form, kind of like a podcast. I will try and keep it on the shorter end, and maybe as we go along, we'll make these episodes longer if I feel like everybody's into it. But we'll just play it by ear for now. There's been a lot of different subjects that I've wanted to speak on in this first episode, but I think the most important thing is that you guys get some takeaway information that you can actually use and implement in your training. And so the first thing I want to talk about is a Instagram post that I recently made that I thought received a lot of good attention, and I got quite a few messages about it, a little bit more than usual, and that was on the subject of conditioning. In the fitness world and in the kind of 2A prepper community, there's a lot of guys that love to lift. They're very much into lifting. A lot of guys are getting out of the military and coming into this little online community, the prepper community, and they bring a love of weightlifting and doing push-ups and pull-ups with them. And I started out as a powerlifting focused coach, and I still handle competitive powerlifters, guys who want to go to, regional and local powerlifting meets and compete. But I have, over the past couple years, transitioned to more of a strength and general conditioning coach. And so I think one of the problems that we have in the prepper community, and more generally in the preparedness-minded community, is we love to lift. And as Mark Bell says, strength is never a weakness, and I believe that, but it's easy to allow ourselves to kind of become unrealistic with our expectations of how our training is going to play out in the real world. And I think one of the things I'm going to be really trying to push over the next couple of months is the importance of conditioning, why it's important, why you need to be taking it more seriously, and hopefully I'll be successfully discussing and explaining how you can kind of fall in love with it. The same reasons that you fell in love with lifting, because it made you feel good, it made you feel strong, it made you feel more capable, and it gave you more confidence. Hopefully we can start to build that relationship with conditioning. Excuse me, whether it be running, hitting the punching bag, doing kind of CrossFit-y type stuff, high repetition calisthenics, that type of thing. I want to try and really change the relationship of the average, tactical athlete, preparedness-minded athlete. I want to change the relationship that they have with conditioning, because right now what I seem to see a lot of, and I've had a lot of my own athletes echo this back, and a lot of people on Instagram that have spoken to me echo this back as well, that they love to lift. It's easy to get motivated to go in there and lift weights, but the conditioning is just, it feels like something totally different, and it's not the same at all. So I want to first break into why conditioning is important, and then I think in the next episode we're going to get a little bit more into the particulars about what exactly is conditioning. We're going to break it up into a few subcategories, and then from there, that'll help us think about conditioning a little bit more effectively and help us to make actual training decisions in the gym in regards to how we're going to approach this. So I think the first thing we need to address is, why is conditioning important? Why does it need to be prioritized? It seems very common sense, but I think this is a topic that needs to be discussed a little bit in depth, because we do maybe take it for granted and not appreciate it to the level that it needs to be appreciated. So like with any goal or training program, we need to discuss, why are we training? And obviously everybody's goals are a little bit different, but generally speaking, for the listeners of this channel and my followers. We want to be kind of prepared for anything. We want to be prepared for violence. We want to be prepared for worst case scenarios. But we also want to look good. We want to be healthy. We want to, feel strong and be able to perform in everyday life. And so that's a very broad goal. And I think a lot of people get a little bit lost on where exactly to start. Should I run? Should I do this? Should I do that? And so the first thing we have to ask ourselves is, why are we doing this? And then we have to acknowledge the goal is broad. We want to be ready for anything. And that's not very helpful to most people because that doesn't give them a starting point. So I like to break it down very specifically, and that's going to help us move on from that point. We want to be able to run because we know that in violent situations or in disaster situations, we need to be able to go to and from the worst case scenario scene. We need to be able to get away from things. We need to be able to run to things to help people that are in need. We need to be able to fight, which we'll get into more specifically. And we need to be, let's just say, physically prepared to fight as far as our strength and conditioning goes. Obviously, there's a skill aspect that needs to be discussed, but that's for another episode. And we need to be able to manipulate things, whether it's pushing our car off the freeway, if it's, got a flat tire, or being able to carry water over a long distance. So hopefully that gives you guys an idea of where we're going to be headed in the next episode. We're going to be talking about long-term endurance. We're going to be talking about strength endurance, and then we're going to be talking about explosive speed type of endurance. And we're going to get into how to train these things, how to specifically implement them into your training if you're already lifting, how to do it if you're not already lifting. And over the next couple episodes, that's the topic we're going to focus on. And I'm going to try and get these episodes out every few days. So in the comments below, I want you guys to put, what are your concerns with your conditioning? What are problems that you're running into with your conditioning? What is keeping you from taking your conditioning as seriously as you take your lifting? And hopefully, over the next couple episodes, we can answer those questions. So please subscribe. If this episode was a little boring, I apologize, but I just wanted to kind of set up a base and introduce what we're going to do. And then as the episodes progress, we're going to get into the details and the day-to-day stuff that you can be doing. Thanks. See you in the next episode.